recap review.
Welcome back to GunDoctorT.V. Today we are going to do a Duncan Lemp update. Now I gotta admit there's not a lot of new information out at all. In the last video I had mentioned something about 30 round magazines. Now we've since found out that he was not allowed to possess guns because of a juvenile offense. It's something really vague and some kind of Maryland law that's really stupid and draconian. Fact of the matter is, if he lived in Kentucky, this probably would have never happened. Because as far as I understand, he's not barred federally from owning firearms. It's just an in-state Maryland thing. But anyway, I'm going to give you an update on what I do know. So originally the police stated that it was a no-knock warrant and it was sealed per their request by a judge for 30 days. That was over on August 11th. We know it was an anonymous tip. They didn't act upon that anonymous tip until March the 12th. And that's, of course, when they did their 4 o'clock raid. Now, the police department since then has released some information. It's been contradictory information. And their statements have changed a total of 3 times, I believe. Now, they say it was a no-knock high-risk warrant. But they said in their last official statement, which I'll link down below, you can read that mess, and it makes no sense. They said that they announced themselves as police officers, for one. And that's not what you do at a no-knock warrant. And they said they were there with a warrant. And then they made entry. Now, with a no-knock warrant, it's tactical. It's surprise on your side. You make entry, and that's when your hands, let me see your hands, I'm a police officer, yada, yada, yada. The witnesses, the family, they're saying the shots came from outside the home. The police, I'm not sure what they're saying. It sounds like shots did come from outside the home, and but they say they were actually inside and made contact with Duncan, and he wasn't complying with commands. He had his arms down to his side, yada yada yada. He was found to be in possession of an AR or a rifle. He was located in front of the bedroom door, the entrance to the bedroom. Okay, granted, cop sees you. You come in, you got a gun. Cop sees you. What are they going to do? They're going to do what cops do. They're either A, going to command you to put it down, or they're going to pull the trigger if they feel like their life is in danger. My point, I don't give a the whole premise of them being there is based on unconstitutional laws. Like I said, federally, I don't believe the boy was barred from owning firearms. It was just an in-state thing. As far as I know, he purchased all those firearms himself. I can't say that for sure, but that's from the information I've gathered. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of new information, but there's some questions that really need answered, and they're not answering these questions. Now, as far as the body footage goes, the body camera footage, it's yet to be released. Like I said, I'm going to try to get through the Freedom of Information Act, this warrant itself, and I'll post that on one of my social medias. I'll let you guys know when that happens, and you can check it all out. If the body cam does come out, we'll review it. We'll go step by step and review it. But my point, the whole point to this whole video is injustice has happened here. Maryland not only is really happy with their red flag laws, they were the first state to kill somebody with red flag laws. The 67-year-old man. That happened really early on with this whole red flag mess. This is just an absolute affront to freedom. It kills the notion of due process. It kills your Second Amendment rights. I mean, in order for the police to enter your home, they have to have evidence of you doing crime, or a reasonable person would have suspicion of you doing a crime. That's reasonable articulable suspicion. And then they had to go to a judge. They had to present the evidence and decide whether it's going to be just a regular search warrant or it's going to be a high-risk warrant. And high-risk warrants usually happen in cases where there's known guns involved. So yeah, it makes sense that this was a high-risk warrant. And they present their evidence and the judge says yes or no. And that's it. You go in, you execute the warrant, or you don't execute the warrant. It all depends on what the judge says. And then once they get there, they collect the evidence and, they make their case against you. Red flag laws. I am fortunate enough to live in a state that has been fighting off red flag laws. If I was a Maryland resident or I lived in one of these red flag states, I'd be really worried, especially if I have an ex you don't get along with or some of those frenemies that are your friends to your face, but they're really against you behind your back or something like that. And I'd be worried. I really would, because these anonymous tips coming in, and police are, this is affecting lives. When you decide to send a human being into another human being's house and you're invading their sanctity of their home, you go in guns blazing, and they might have guns blazing, they might not, it might be peaceful, but the point is, lives are at stake. Livelihoods are at stake. You can disrupt an entire family forever over something like this. And that's what happened in this case. This family has suffered something, and will they recover from it? Not truly. You don't ever recover from a tragic loss like that, something sudden and so traumatic. You don't really cover for something like that. So, yeah, the point is, if you are an officer of the law and you, like me, took an oath to uphold, defend the Constitution, and you willingly break that oath by enforcing unconstitutional laws, you do red coat stuff, and those are facts. We are Americans, people. We want our freedom through the sights of a gun. Nothing's ever going to change that. There's always going to be Americans who are adamant, like I am, about their gun rights, and they will do whatever it takes to protect those rights. And red flag laws are the single biggest threat to that freedom. Not only that freedom, but other amendments as well. The right to property, all that good stuff. A right to a fair trial, due process. All that goes out the window with red flag laws. And we really have to be careful, and we have to do our due diligence. And you have to get off ass. You have to dial phone numbers. You have to get in contact with your congressmen, your representatives, and you got to let them know this has got to change. The states that have these, they need to be repealed. Bottom line is, our rights are under attack, and if we don't do anything about it, if our country's not lost already, it will be. And that's the truth. And that leads me into this with the COVID-19 stuff and this phase 4 of the stimulus package. At first we thought they were going to go with Hank Johnson's major gun control, but it looks like they're leaning towards red flag laws. And we just simply can't let that happen, because the whole United States could potentially turn into Maryland and have these unconstitutional red flag laws, and young, innocent men and women are going to lose their lives, and it's going to be turmoil, it's going to be chaos. And the only way we can prevent that is, like I said, beat feet, spread the word, and make your voices heard. It's the only way we're going to beat this, ladies and gentlemen. I will catch you in the next one. Stay safe and stay free, America.
Full beard manly.